So some good friends of mine came over to help me try to get my room in order. But complete honesty, it was not livable. It's still barely livable, but at least now I have floor from my bed to my door, so I'm not walking over everything. And I can open my door all the way right now because I don't have a mountain of laundry stacked behind it, mixed with the trash that I didn't have enough energy to pick up. And anyone who knows me really well knows that that's not who I am. I mean, with my OCD, I've always had to have my, what's the word for it? Organized chaos? So, organized chaos. When I was a kid, I had to have stuff on my floor. I had severe panic attacks if my room was completely clean with everything put away perfectly. I knew where everything was if it was laid out the way I had it, but if I actually cleaned, or if my dad came in and started shoving everything in a box or in a garbage can, I would have such bad anxiety that for several years of my life, the night after it was clean, I would wet the bed, probably until I was 4. So much anxiety. After that, it just changed to nightmares. I don't know, maybe before it was some type of sleep terrors or something. Yeah, I got to college, and at that point my organized chaos kind of swapped. I still had messes because I had a freaking overload course of 20 credit hours for that semester. I tried to be really, really clean. That was the point when I started getting obsessed with washing after I was raped. And, I mean, honestly, you can see in some of my old writing. I have a piece that I wrote in freshman year. I hadn't realized what had happened to me yet. I thought that it was my fault. And I was writing all this. It was right after my creative writing class. I was sitting on the steps of the college laundromat, which was like smack dab in the middle of campus, and just scribbling things out as they came to me. Some things were really discombobulated, and I went back later and reordered a couple of things so that it flowed better. If I look back at that now, I can see where some of my patterns were. I can see that I was struggling. I was getting closer to acknowledging that there was trauma there, that I had actually been raped, and that it wasn't my fault, but it was still twisting. What was the point I was making here? Looking at those feelings, you can see what my head was doing to me at that time. I didn't find out until October of that year, 2009. I went to an event called Take Back the Night. That night, I got up and I shared my friend's experience. A story that I had known for a long time that kept plaguing my mind. I sat back down, and several people had gone before me, and the door was starting to creak open, but I hadn't realized it yet. And I think part of that creaking is what led me to get up and share my friend's story without revealing any of her information. I'm sitting there with my friend Kaylin, and with each new person, that door is shoved just a little bit further open, a little bit further, a little bit further. And then it felt like I was drowning. That door opened, and with it came a flood of, I don't know, part of it felt like terror, part of it felt like being completely numb. The event's still happening, but I'm moving. I didn't realize I was moving until I got to my dorm and collapsed in the hallway that I lived on. I had gotten up and I walked all the way across campus back into my dorm, into Tinker Hall 3A. The last thing that I had remembered was sitting there and then feeling total shock. To me, the next thing I knew, I was shaking on the floor of my dorm hallway. Kaylin was just coming through the door, having followed me, and coming to sit down beside me. I was just shaking. I told her the very, very tip of the iceberg. Only the little bit that I was able to grasp at that time. I told her, I think I was sexually assaulted. I told her enough at that time. She told me, yeah, that's definitely assault. I don't exactly remember what happened next. My next clear memory is sitting on my bed in my dorm room, typing to a good friend's mom. I told her a bit of what happened, and she sent me a message and said, honey, that wasn't just sexual assault. You were raped. I became even more withdrawn and awkward than I already was. Nobody else found out what had happened until the beginning of the next semester. That's a different story. And the person that first got the story out of me, Holly, you're an angel. I don't know if you realize how much impact that had on me. I'm not gonna get into that now. I can't. Now with where my brain's at. Hold on. I don't want to have flashbacks on camera. Focus on the OCD. Alright, so slightly attached story. When I had my first birthday, I wouldn't touch my birthday cake. Like, I didn't try to reach out to it. I didn't try to touch it. And, you know, of course, your first cake you're supposed to dive into. Get messy. Well, my parents came up and shoved my hands into the cake. And I started crying. I'm 1 year old, sitting there crying with cake all over my hands because I didn't like being sticky. They had to wash my hands to get me to calm down. I didn't know that I had OCD until I was an adult, after I moved back to Utah. At that point, I told people that I was OCD about being clean. I didn't really believe it. I just thought I was nitpicky about cleanliness. But a lot of the things that I did that were actually related to the OCD were not the things that I was attributing the claim of OCD to. Some of them were the hot showers, the hand washing, the face picking, the need to have chaos, the anxiety response to people touching my things because of what happened when I was a child, having to have things exactly a certain way. And that sounds like I'm just super picky, but I have mental and physical responses to it. My heart starts pounding, I get sweaty, I get shaky, I get nauseous. If I didn't do it that way, something bad would happen. Triggering myself just a little bit, but I don't think that there's any way around that right now if I want to be transparent. Sorry, I keep getting off track. This was meant to be a 5-minute video. I keep losing my train of thought. I know I'm supposed to circle back to cleaning, but then I got stuck on mental health bullcrap. It's bull that I have it, and put it that way. It's real, it's there, it's a problem. I don't like it. So back to my room, I have tried to be really clean, really organized, and just my health keeps getting worse and worse. I wasn't able to keep up with it, and then I also had several months of grieving when my best friend died. I definitely lost myself in all of that. Anyway, between my best friend dying and giving too much in a failing relationship, my body got even sicker, and I don't know if I would have gotten sicker either way, or if these things sped it along, or the fact that this never-ending battle is really daunting. But it got to the point where my bedroom was an unsafe space. I don't think anybody really got the extent of it until those friends came over to help me clean. And I don't know if you guys have heard the term spoons, but it's something used in chronic illness. So for me, even if I cut out everything else, I could not manage an 8-hour shift. It would put me out for several days. With this cleaning, we did do a lot, but it feels like so little was done. And then I slept for the next 2 days solid. Had a few hours of awake time overall. And this isn't just, oh, I'm lazy, I'm sleeping. This is cannot be roused, dead to the world sleeping. Like the kind of exhausted that you would feel after, I don't know, running from zombies for an hour, 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. I don't know if this is getting through to anybody. Maybe I won't even post this.